Yo, GM lads, GM. Although it is late in the evening, how's everybody doing? On this Sunday night, after the weekly close, it's your boy Rapture here. Hey, what's up, JJ? How are you, my friend? Good to see you as always, one of my day one ride or die homies. What do we have here? We got the BTC weekly chart up. I think maybe since the levels are getting a little bit stale, maybe we'll wipe the chart clean and start fresh tonight. A lot took place over the weekend. The whole situation with the US and Iran. Hopefully anyone that's out in that part of the world is safe, which led to some volatility over the weekend. And we'll take a look at our high time frame levels as always. We'll dive into this in a minute. Let's just pull up our session overview. Welcome to another one of Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions, number 18, the weekly close show. We're going to take a look at our high time frame levels, dive into a little bit of strategy for the days and week ahead. We'll look at BTC, ETH, Sol, maybe even Hype. And as we do every Sunday after the weekly close, we take a look at the weekly macro dashboard. We'll also pull open my high time frame swing screener pro and see if there were any weekly SFPs to be aware of. And once again, want to give a shout out to the good folks over at BingX for helping me put this show on. Head on over to bingx.com, use code Rapture, and get yourself some sign up bonuses. Okay, lads. So how are we doing? I'll be honest, I was away from keyboard, AFK, all today, and pretty preoccupied yesterday as well. I didn't take any trades this weekend, to be honest. I just wasn't focused on the market, was doing some other stuff. Got myself a nice little green tea for a little evening talk radio. That was an unnecessary tongue twister. Fuck me. Okay. Let me get rid of this banner because we are officially live. There we go. You know what? Let's just wipe this bad boy clean. We can recreate all of our levels. Let's just start fresh. Sometimes it's just nice to start fresh. And okay, being that it is now officially March 1st and February has closed, that level that we've been watching, it is officially a lower low close on the BTC monthly. Not great. As we walked through a few weeks back, when we started trading below that level, we walked through the entirety of the BTC monthly chart on the Binance Perps pair. And this is the first time in its entirety of existence that it's gotten a lower low close on the monthly. Now, you could say, because this was a monthly breaker, right? This was the swing low that created that monthly SFP. This was a giant monthly breaker, and you had a market structure break here. But the actual primary range for the BTC monthly chart was swing low to swing high, because that was just an SFP trading within the range. We never violated that low. We certainly never closed below it. Yes, we did have one monthly low violation down over here, but it ended as an SFP and reclaimed. Well, this is the first time in the BTC Binance Perps. You know what? Let's take a look and see which chart has the oldest chart history. It's probably like Bitfinex or something, right? Let's take a look. All-time history index. Let's give that a look. Let's just take a look and see. Let's take a little experiment, a little exercise. Right? Let's just do a little exercise and see. Has BTC ever had a monthly lower low close? Now, I mark ranges very specifically. Yes, usually on monthly, I use the close level. But when we're talking about a range, it's swing low to swing high. It's crazy that BTC traded at a penny before. It's so wild. You know what's fucking really wild? Back in 2000, somewhere back in here, back in a former life of mine, I was working in ad sales. This is a lifetime ago. I had a client. He was telling me about this internet money, this Bitcoin stuff. He's like, just go get some. I was like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Internet money. Like, come on. I like cashola, US dollar. I think about that from time to time. I wonder if that guy held on to a lot of his Bitcoin from back then. This shit was trading super cheap. It was definitely back in 2009, which is the wild part. You know what they say, though, about Bitcoin? It takes like 2 or 3 instances of being coming up in conversation before you start to take it, before you start to actually look into it. Well, that was my first conversation down there. Did not buy anything, needless to say. Oh, well, okay, so let's get back to this. I just want to take a look. Let's just mark out. Okay, so you did have a lower low close there, but I mean, this, can you really count that? I don't know. This was like, you know, it's saying it traded below a penny. So let's just find, and keep in mind, this is an index, right? It's not like, we're just going to find all the swing lows that we're range defining. And we're going to take a look and see, did BTC ever close a monthly? So far, no. Outside of that first little one down there, which we're not going to count, let's just take a look. Has BTC ever closed a monthly lower low? So far, it's looking like no. Now, it's the swing low that creates a higher high, just so you're aware. Just like it's a swing high that creates a lower low for a bearish market structure, for an uptrend, it's the swing low that creates a higher high. Well, this was our high. This was the high that broke it, the close above. This is the swing low that created that. That's just what I'm going through and marking out. Let's see in here. Did it? No, it did not. You did get bearish breaker though. Close below, retested. Pretty interesting. How even back here in its infancy, BTC was still trading quite clean. Again, I'm just looking for every lower low or every swing low that led to a higher high. For the entirety of the Bitcoin chart. So just bear with me a minute. This is just a good this is just a fun thought exercise to do, right? Fun exercise. So now we're at last cycle. This is where I got involved in crypto. I think September 2020 is where I bought my first bit of Bitcoin and had some fun in that cycle. Okay, so we're continue to go through, right? So you can see here from last cycle's range, monthly range, we did not violate that swing low, right? Not even close to it. I mean, yes, we came close, but right? It's like, are you walking with me? Are you seeing what we're doing here? We're just marking out every single swing low on monthly. And there we go. That's the very first time in BTC history that it got a monthly lower low close. That is new behavior. You can't take that lightly. That is a new behavior. Interesting. Okay, let's get back to the actual chart that I use. Let's pull it back up. And like I said, we're just going to wipe everything clean so that you guys can walk with me and see how it is that I mark everything out. So we're still waiting for that level there. I think it still happens. We're not, we will see, but I still think that happens. Still think that is going to happen. We're just marking out our key monthly close levels, key relevant monthly close levels, so that we have our high time frame levels marked, where if and when price gets to there, we have a level to frame interactions around. Now, yes, you could say we've held this level here, but I do think that is the more important level. So there's monthly. Bearish monthly market structure, official. And we got that. What do I want to do here? I want this to be, no, that's too thick. Just we'll have that as our monthly lower low close level, right? So like this is now all supply. It's not great. On a monthly time frame, that is all supply, that whole area. But yes, we can get a lot of good trades long, but there's a lot of underwater people. And the narrative for crypto is kind of in the shitter at the moment, right? Like crypto president extracted billions, provably extracted billions out of the market. Rhetoric around crypto is in the shitter. I'm going to be here trading BTC and other cryptographically secured assets, 24/7 markets, although there's a lot of equities on chain these days and commodities that you can trade at various venues. I don't know. I still love trading BTC. Okay, so there is our monthly chart marked up. Let's go to weekly. We're still trading in a bearish weekly range. We'll mark out our range quarters. And for now, 1, 2, 3, we're now into the 4th inside week. Everyone got super bullish on that. Everyone's like, oh, we didn't nuke on the war FUD. Not even FUD on the war activities. We're going to mark out our range quarters for the inside week, right? There's our week. We've been 1, 2, 3. Let's zoom right in so you guys can see what I'm saying. So there's our bearish weekly range, swing high to swing low. It's a bearish weekly range. It's a downtrend, right? Lower low, lower low. But we've been trading inside week, and we've talked a lot about these inside week setups for a while now, right? Like over here, this was a week that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks that traded inside before we finally nuked out after we took out the high. Right? We took out the high of that inside week, right? You guys have been with me for a while. You remember we had this marked out with weekly range quarters as our inside week that we were trading. Took out the high and then boom. Well, you have to admit, although weaker looking candles, we're starting to form a similar weekly long-term range, right? 1, 2, 3 into the 4th week inside of this one. Very similar looking. So we have our bearish weekly range marked and our weekly range quarters marked for the inside week. Now we could probably draw some supply zones on here. Like there's a weekly fair value gap there. There's weekly, this whole area is supply. There's another weekly fair value gap there. I used to draw out supply and demand zones a lot more, or order blocks, if you subscribe to that terminology and framework. Right, and supply, demand, order blocks, support and resistance are all just different ways of saying similar things. But because I'm so levels based and like specific high time frame levels based, I'm drawing supply and demand out way less than I used to. Breakers, I box out all the time because those are integral or key to the strategy that I trade. But supply and demand, like if I was going to draw supply and demand on here, this would be a weekly fair value gap. And for weekly, I put them on very muted in the background so they're not overly clogging up my chart. There's another weekly fair value gap there. We actually also have this whole region here that I would call weekly supply, right? That if we get a bounce all the way up there, high probability shorts, we just don't even have that kind of strength yet, right? But I'm trying not to, not even that I try not to, I just, for now that I've developed my process and my system so fine-tuned at this point, I find putting those boxes counterproductive, I'll say. Okay, so there's weekly. We'll go down to daily. Let's mark out our daily range. We're still in the same high time frame daily range. Nothing has changed. Swing high. This is swing low. This is our daily. This is the primary daily range. It's a bearish range. We have a bunch of internal swing levels as well. All right. So like this is untapped. I would say we'd probably visit that at some point for a decent short. All right, if we come up there, SFP up into there, juicy short. We're just marking out our daily swing levels that could become relevant in the future. Right, like this one has been relevant. All right, we had that daily SFP up there. Led to a nice short. This was the dump on the war situation. I didn't take that long, unfortunately. I just didn't really see the long at the time. But we can go back and take a look and outline. I mean, yes, it's hindsight now, but where the long would have been. Nobody likes a hindsight quarterback, though. Okay, so there's our relevant daily levels. I mean, that might become one again. Should we mark it? Sure, why not? We're here, why not? Okay, there's our daily levels. If we come and sweep that, we're definitely sweeping up here, so I'm not too worried about that. There's daily, go down to H12. So what do we have on H12? Right, you can see the relevance of that level. And it also was that double stacked weekly range quarter, right? So pretty high probability short that we took last week on whenever the last live session was, right? We outlined that. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Just give me that. So here's some H12 levels to be aware of. H12, H12. All right, see how we're just going down the time frames. from monthly to weekly, daily, H12, H4, that's it. I don't mark out anything below that. I let the indicators do that for me. Because when I'm trading, I don't want to be having to figure out levels. I want them done ahead of time. And on low time frame, it's just too much going on that I want to be responding and reacting to price and not fumbling around drawing levels. So there's our H12. You can see though that it's a compressing range, but it's trending lower. I do still think we're going to take out some of these levels up here. Ultimately, I'm really looking for a high time frame, longer term BTC play off of down here. Here we are on H4. Let's just zoom out a bit, see what we see. So one thing that BTC has going for it, there's still an H4 bullish breaker here. Oops. This is still an H4 bullish breaker. You got an H4 SFP there. It's a market structure shift style breaker. Well, actually, yeah, it's a market structure shift style breaker, but it's still a bullish H4 breaker. So, and it held even through the war dump. It held. We do also have the bearish equivalent of that right here. And you can see how that acted as supply, right? Like we're sort of in the middle of a rock and a hard place here. So I'm not going to overcomplicate things by drawing too much out here. One thing I do see, was that an H4 SFP there? It's a high. 1890, 188.8. So this was a tick level accurate SFP. Okay, so there's our H4 levels of relevance. High time frame important levels. So if you guys remember, we outlined it off of this H12 SFP. We had the H12 H1 was here that we outlined for the short. Then you had H1 SFPs into the H1 bearish breaker after the H12 SFP and the aftermath, right? So on Saturday, I guess it was it Saturday? Was it only just on Saturday? I said I wasn't overly interested in a long down here. I will give you the hindsight play of what it was. You set your swing low, and then you're, for a market structure shift style breaker, not a market structure break. I prefer a market structure breaker. And I prefer it if it takes out a high time frame level too. That was the thing. There was no high time frame level. And we can see here. Yes, there is this weekly range quarter. But on H12, H4, there was no level taken out here. Like there was no SFP down here. I like the high time frame SFP. You didn't get that, but you're not always going to get that. So what was the trade, right? I prefer a market structure break, right? Like this is a swing low that creates the SFP on H12, close below market structure break. Right? Swing low that created the H12 SFP right there. That's the, and then you have a close below market structure break. Well, over here, you have a swing low that isn't an SFP, and then you have what you wait for is the first swing high to set as a range. And then what you do is you take the swing low to that swing high, and that's your market structure shift style breaker. And you can see as soon as it closed above, retest, there was your long. For anyone interested to know how you would have traded that, I didn't trade that. Now here we had an H4 SFP, right? It barely wicked it though, so it's, did it grab any liquidity there? It's difficult to say, but you did get a close below. This is technically, I just don't love how shallow that wick was. Would have liked it to actually breach that a bit more, but you do technically have an H1 bearish breaker right here. And you're getting H1 SFPs, right? Like all this here. You're getting H1 SFPs within that bearish breaker, right? Close below, wick, wick. So if you're looking for a short, this is technically a short. I just don't love that this didn't violate that level too much. Rafael Fontes, GM. GM, it's a new face. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing this evening? Okay, well, that's BTC. We've got, oh, you know what I can see that I didn't catch before? There's a little H4 level here that maybe that becomes, maybe that becomes an SFP level. All right, so we can zoom out. We've got monthly set, monthly lower low, first in BTC's history. At least on the BTC Nance Perps chart. We did see that other one on that index, but when it was trading sub a cent, I don't know that you can really call that. Monthly lower low, significant. We've got our weekly range quartered out. It's a bearish range. We had the weekly inside week quartered out. You can see we're finding support of that one weekly range quarter level. Here's our daily bearish range. All of our daily levels mapped out. Could you map that one right there? Yeah, you could. But I think if it comes down and takes out that, it's taking out that. So you might as well just wait for it. Go to H12. Okay, this is an H4 level, not an H12 level. There we go. H12, H4, there's our H4 levels. And we're just waiting for next high time frame level interactions, right? Like we can see how they give us the best responses. They give us the best responses. Didn't get anything down here, unfortunately. And after that dump, I just kind of checked out on Saturday or Friday. I was doing other stuff. You guys know Friday nights I like to spend with my fam, with the kids. Okay, so there's our H4 levels. That's BTC. Let's move along to ETH. I'm not going to do the same as I wiped for BTC because I just don't update ETH and Solana as religiously as I do BTC because I mostly trade BTC. You guys that have been with me for a while will know this now. But nothing's changed on the monthly front. I still think we're looking to take this out down here. This monthly level here. Maybe even this swing low here. Go to weekly. Same picture. Oof, that was a nasty, what do they call that? That's a Darth Maul on the weekly. Look at that supply there. I'm going to get rid of that, though. Let's keep things clean. So, bearish weekly range. Week, inside week as well. 1, 2, 3. Now the fourth inside week of this week. We have our range quarters on weekly marked out. Let's go to daily. So that daily breaker we outlined last session is held. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. I need to top up on some hot water on my green tea. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Apologies about that. Just had to flick the kettle on. So, same thing for ETH. Range high, range low, bearish range. You know what? Let's clean all this up. Let's clean this up and do this fresh. We'll leave the weekly and monthly levels. But we'll start fresh. Actually, one thing I did forget to map it on BTC. What was that market structure break level there? I mean, is it even good? Put it, because maybe it'll become relevant. Right, keep in mind, guys, that as long as we're within this primary daily range, this bearish daily range, you can trade all the way up into here, and we're still bearish structure. The only thing that would change my mind on that would be take out this swing low, put in a daily bullish breaker, then I would shift my market structure view on it. Okay. Back to ETH. So we'll do the same thing we did on BTC. We've got our daily range. Like, it's a massive range. Like, no denying this is a ridiculously large bearish range. Now we're obviously trading down here within this tighter range. We're just going to mark out our levels of relevance, our high time frame levels of relevance. You can see how clean those weekly range quarters, right? The thinner gray lines are the weekly range quarters. The thicker gray line is the monthly level. You can see how clean it trades off of all these levels. Now this level is a little bit higher than it was on BTC. That's why I'm marking it. On BTC, we left that swing low unmarked, because if it takes it on a BTC, it makes more sense to me that's going to take that out, but there's a bit of a wider distance here, so we'll leave that up on ETH. I mean, yeah, we can mark that, even though it is exactly as that weekly range quarter level. But you know what? I'm not going to keep that up there because the weekly level is more important. It's good. The reason why I use the different colors and the different thicknesses is so that I immediately know what time frame the level is, because it adds weight to the level. So we did have this outlined as a bullish daily breaker. Is there a reason to be bullish ETH over BTC right now, though? I don't know. Okay, I just heard the kettle boil. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry, lads. It'll just take me 2 seconds. And we are back. By the way, lads, I do apologize for the later start today. I was exhausted. I don't know what was up. Ran a bunch of errands earlier today. And when I got home, I just passed the fuck out on the couch. So I'm sipping on that green tea. Give me a little bit of caffeine kick before I go to bed. Caffeine doesn't really affect me like that, though. I can drink coffee or green tea before bed and still pass the fuck out. I actually sleep quite well. Sleep like a baby. Okay, so, this is technically a bullish breaker. We'll drop down to H12. Where's that hide? There we go. We're on H12. See how that levels continue to be relevant. No other levels to mark out here on H12 though. Everything else is covered by weekly levels, which is good to see. Oh, well, we can probably mark that now. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Ooh, we're already at 40 minutes. I'm going to start speeding this up because I want to get through ETH and Sol and then look at the macro dashboard. And then take a quick peek to see if there's been any weekly SFPs on coins that we should be aware of. Excuse me. So here we are on H4. So I still had H4 level. Look at how this level continues to be important. See that? Is this level? I don't know. I think we can get rid of this. Looks like it's kind of played its course. I think if we're going to come back down here, we're going to take out that. So I think we can get rid of that just to clean some things up a little bit. Draw that over. Okay. There's ETH. There's our H4 level, our monthly, weekly, daily H12, H4 levels on ETH. So we have that swing high all the way up there. Is it going to be relevant? I don't know. Feels like a long way away before cryptos revisit levels like that. Moonar, what's up, buddy? GM. Appreciate you being here, my dude. Oh, okay. Well, that's our ETH levels. And again, I will post these. Or not again, I haven't said it yet today. I will post these as always in my Telegram channel so you guys can have reference for the charts. And by the way, if you are not currently a member or subscriber to my Telegram channel, Rapture's trade book, you can find a link for that in the description for this video if you're watching on YouTube, or head on over to my Twitter profile and it is in my bio. It is a free channel where I post charts a lot more frequently than I do on the Twitter timeline. And I also post my thoughts. I got things in the works. I've been slacking on my posting, in particular on Twitter. I don't know, Twitter's felt so hit or miss lately. But it is a tool that I want to refine. So there's ETH. Let's go down to Solana. We'll go back to monthly just like we looked. Oh, there was our lesson from a few weeks ago. How I layer my approach. If you haven't screenshotted this or copied this down, get a screenshot of that and copy that, because this is how I layer my approach. We've talked about that before. And we're not going to talk about that today because this is our weekly close show. This is more for funning low time frame setups, but based around high time frame levels. Okay, so yeesh. Similar to, you know, BTC and ETH, we got those monthly lower low closes. Not great. Although technically for Solana, it's still trading in this one ginormous range. It is pretty wild though. Like back over here, everyone was super bullish and clowning on ETH, but it looks almost identical. Almost identical. The only thing that's done better is BTC, which looks like ass right now, to be honest. Okay, so the crypto charts don't look so hot. Doesn't mean we can't find trades, because we trade both ways intraday. We find trades every day. But these crypto charts do not look so inviting. Like if I was not a crypto participant and I was looking at these charts, I'd be like, I don't want to fucking trade these. If I was bullish, right? As someone who can short the market, I don't care really. So long as I get a high time frame level that I can trade off of, then I'm good to go. But if I was like TradFi, I'm looking at these and I'm like, why on earth would I be wanting to buy any of these right now? So levels be leveling. Levels be leveling. Nothing to update on the monthly for Solana. Looking at a very similar picture on weekly. Solana actually looks a little bit better than BTC and ETH did, because it did have that weekly SFP that we've been still, I mean, it's still range bound around, so it hasn't put in much motion. But bearish weekly range, swing high to swing low. We've got that range quartered out. Probably get rid of that now. Swing high, swing low. We're also inside week 1, 2, 3, fourth week inside week of this one. You can see how much we're compressing. We did a very similar thing here. Yeah, we went up a bit before getting a weekly SFP of a range high, or of a swing high, before nuking. I mean, really, I think if you have the patience, like if you want to be more high time frame trade focused and you don't like intraday like I do, like it's no secret at this point for anyone who's been following along, anyone's been on the journey with me, that I trade intraday now. But if you're looking for high time frame swing type trades, you can be patient. I really think you can be patient. There's weekly, let's go on a daily. Oh, we can see that bullish breaker after that daily SFP held, but we're still within that bullish breaker. Nothing else to, sorry, apologies about that yawn. Like I said, it's been an exhausting day. I don't know why. I have to make sure I get a good night's sleep so that I can start the week fresh tomorrow and be up nice and early. I like to be up early before everyone else is up. Okay, so why was this a bullish daily breaker? Well, you had a daily SFP here, a bullish daily SFP here that flipped. This is the swing high that created the daily SFP. This is a high time frame breaker, bullish breaker, and it closed above. Yeah, it closed above right into a daily SFP. So like, not ideal, but it's held this bullish breaker, while also taking out some weekly range quarters. Nothing really else to update here on daily. One second, let's go back to ETH for a second. do want to have that market structure break level there. There we go. Clean on ETH. Okay. Like I said though, like, yeah, I still have these supply zones marked out. I've been using these less and less lately. Less and less lately. They're still good targets so that you can know when to focus, but I'm so zeroed in just on the high time frame levels themselves that they're mostly just distracting for me. I don't know. I wonder if I'm just going to stop using those order block style supply and demands. I don't know yet. We'll see. You know, systems evolve, and you have to grow with your system. And over time, if you aren't using things as much and they just become a thing you just do just because, or extra steps or noise on your chart, right? Because I know that we're in a bearish range, and I know that up here I'd be looking for shorts more than longs. I don't need that box to tell me that. That's really what supply and demand zones or order blocks are, right? It's giving you that predefined guide of, hey, remember, asshole, you thought you want to be looking for a long here, or you thought you wanted to be looking for a short here. That's what my levels do. Let's go to H12. Ooh, there's a lot of lines on here. They're still all being relevant though, right? Relevant, right? I only remove levels once they stop being relevant, and these levels just continue to be relevant. Sol's actually been trading quite clean. I know I keep saying this every session when I look at ETH and Sol. I'm like, man, these have been trading really clean. I'm just so dialed in on BTC that intraday I just rarely look at the ETH or Sol charts. I look at them to mark out these levels with you guys. But man, there's some clean trades taking place. I think we can actually get rid of. Let's take a look here. I think what we actually do is now we see this is here. So H4. Look at that clean H4 SFP right there. Right? Right, guys? Like, I say this all the time. Like, just make sure you're marking out your high time frame levels. All you needed was that, right? H4 SFP. H4 levels and above, and you're good to go. I'm just looking on here. Is there any other levels that I'd update? Like, yeah, you can mark that, but then it's that weekly range quarter, so you might as well just have what you have marked there. Like, I'm even looking at this, but it's giving you the reactions, right? A lot of levels to trade. That's the thing when people don't like to look at low time frame or lower time frames because they don't. It's either they don't have the time or they don't want to be that involved with charts or whatever, or they don't think that there's trades to be had. But like, there's, you know, when you're executing on low time frame, guided off of your high time frame levels, you have so many trades available to you. That's why you only need. That's how I can just focus on BTC. But even if you say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to focus on BTC, ETH, and Sol, you have multiple trades every day that give you those consistent couple percent on your count growth daily. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just old, but I just see less and less need for trading other alts. Yeah, you get a much larger moves, but that's not the type of trading I do. You just have to be honest with yourself what type of trading you like to do. Okay, so that's Solana. Our levels are marked. Yeah, there's a swing high there. also that weekly. Look at how everything lines up, right? Like that weekly range quarter. It's the exact top of that breaker. Okay, there's our Solana levels. Again, lads, I will share these charts in the Telegram channel after the session. So, kind of not much happening where we are right now. Just give me a high time frame level taken out. Let's take a quick look at what we're going to look at. Well, we've talked about our high time frame levels on BTC ETH and Sol and strategy. You're just looking for those high time frame levels to get taken out. Is it a long? Is it a short? I don't know right now. It's sort of confusing with like what's happening geopolitical front. I try not to get too concerned. Like, try not to get too concerned about news or headlines and how that's going to affect my trading, right? Because on BTC, that H12 SFP over here, we had the short well before, right? We had the short off of here days before the war situation broke out, right? We had that short. There was the H1 breaker that was shared. The setup, H1 SFP's into it well before the war dump. And this is actually quite a contained move, right? Yeah, you can see the argument why people are making on the timeline. Like, oh, you can see the argument why people are making on the timeline that, thank you, JJ, I caught that just in time too. So once again, you had the H12 SFP there on Wednesday. We talked about it and outlined the H1 breaker setup over here as the short that gave you the follow through well before the war news broke, right? So I tend to not focus on headline trading or news trading and just let the levels tell me what they're trying to say. And yeah, we did have that H4 SFP here, but it's such a tiny little wick. I could see this just going up. But there is an H1 breaker here. Do with that what you will. Okay, so let's take a look at hype, as we were saying we were going to. We'll switch to my high time frame. Ooh, well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Our weekly bullish breaker we've had outlined for almost a month now did what we were looking for, right? We've had, right? Like, this is almost identical to that. We can get rid of that little squiggle now. Clout claimed. Clout has been claimed. So the weekly bullish breaker off of the monthly SFP. Looks like it took out an H4 SFP down here. You had an H4 bullish breaker, but you never got a retest. You've also reclaimed bullish structure on daily, right? We had a market structure break there and it was a bearish range on daily, but into the weekly breaker, well, now you've had a bullish daily market structure break. There's our swing low. We don't yet have a swing high. Now I do see this right here. All right. So it's something to be aware of, that we're in process of putting in a possible bearish daily SFP up here on hype, but you want to be looking for a long into here, right? Right, like this is where you're looking for long. Any retest into there on hype is a long, right? Like, let's go to H12 and see what we got. Let's clean some of this up. This is a bit noisy. Any move down into here off of some of these levels, it may only come down into here. All right, let me just do something like that. Maybe it's going to come deeper down into here. You're looking for some interaction on some of these levels for the next long. If this gives you an SFP at the close, right? It's a daily level, so it's a long way to go for that. But ultimately, you're looking for a long somewhere. It's either going to come here or it's going to be somewhere down in here. It may even come all the way down here. I don't know. But this was a solid move. That's a good move for hype. Like, it's still a solid looking coin. And our weekly bullish breaker held exactly as we were looking for it to do. Okay, so oops. So we looked at BTC ETH, SOL, and hype. We looked at our high time frame levels and strategy. Let's take a look at the weekly macro dashboard real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because. So what do we have here? We have BTCD, total ES divided by BTC, which is total crypto market cap, excluding stable coins divided by BTC. We have the USDT.D tether dominance. We used to look at the Dixie, but this is more of an, especially related to crypto, a better chart to use. We've got ETH BTC, SOL BTC, and SOL ETH. SOL ETH just looks boring. SOL BTC. Okay, let's just go through these one at a time. So ETH BTC. We were looking for that last week for a weekly SFP down here. This bodes well for BTC, right? Spoke about, we outlined that. We're trading somewhere up here. I said, well, maybe we're going to put in a weekly SFP for BTCD, which we did. So, says to me, focus BTC. Total ES BTC, again, tagged into that supply, that bearish weekly supply, and rejected. USDT. Okay, so it came up and took out a level again, right? I said over here, I was like, maybe it comes out and takes out one of these levels again. Well, it did. And now it looks as though capital is starting to rotate back into the market. This paired with this, that's a bit of a good sign. The capital is starting to creep off the sidelines out of stable coins. And ideally back into BTC first, right? Like you want a BTC-led move. ETH BTC actually doesn't look horrible. It's kind of found a bottom, although it did tag supply and rejected. Maybe it comes and takes out this weekly low though, and then finds an actual bottom for a reversal. Sol BTC. I mean, this has room for upside too. Although on monthly, it just looks horrible. Did that SFP? Huh. Did it? So that's kind of interesting there. This does have room for upside. Supply is all the way up there. Against ETH though, Sol is just in the middle of this range, doing dick all. You either want to go long against ETH. If you want to focus on alts, you want to go long on Sol against ETH after taking out a low, or long on ETH against Sol after taking out a high. From here, it's just kind of anyone's guess. And similar thing with ETH BTC, right? It's just like I'd want to see that low taken out. Sol BTC does interest me though, because there's a lot of room before supply. Yeah, it's trading well off the low, but it's holding this this monthly. Yeah, put in a monthly SFP. Sol BTC put in a monthly SFP. This is that level here. We're trading above it. Sol BTC interests me more than ETH BTC, but Sol ETH does not. So that's what's kind of confusing me a bit. And BTCD looks decent, especially when we look at this USDTD. You know, maybe it's going to come back, trade down. Yes, we're still inside week on USDTD as well, but I could see this rolling over now. I could see this rolling over. And this looks solid. So what are these charts telling me right now? What are the macro charts telling me? BTC looks solid. Looks like capital is rotating out of stablecoins back into the market. Sol ETH is in a spot that it's difficult to say which would outperform, which is kind of reflected here, right? Like this, I don't really want to trade ETH here, but if you look at these two charts, Sol BTC and the ETH BTC and Sol BTC, they do have room for upside. Maybe that's why they're just sort of like they're kind of really closely correlated right now. That's why between the two, it's just sort of flat. Which then you have to say to yourself, okay, which one looks better against BTC? I kind of like Sol BTC better, I'm being honest. And I just don't really have much interest in alts here. rejected, rejected, off of supply, right? This is the same exact setup. Weekly bearish SFP, market structure break to confirm the breaker, rejected off of it. Weekly bearish SFP, market structure break to confirm the breaker after, rejected off of it. I honestly haven't looked at many altcoins in a while, other than Hype, which we just looked at, which did not look bad at all. And it's following our flight path. I don't know. This just tells me I'm going to continue to just focus on BTC. And once one of these takes out a low, whether that's ETH BTC or Sol BTC, then I'd focus on that over the other. Because right now, the Sol ETH chart is just telling me there's no real difference between the two of those. Hopefully that makes sense to you lads on the weekly macro dashboard. Let's pop back over here. You know what we're going to do really quick is we're going to take a look and see we use my high time frame swing screener pro. Let's go and take a look. Let's take a look on BingX, see if there have been any weekly SFPs and what those assets look like after the weekly close took place. Let's see what we're working with, and then we're going to wrap it up because we're almost at 1 hour and a quarter. So immediately what we're going to do is we're going to go filter by 30 mil 24-hour vol. Scan again. Not a damn coin. Not a damn coin put in a weekly SFP that has more than 30 million 24-hour volume. Let's just reset that and see what it was showing as weekly SFPs on here. I don't recognize broccoli, cake. ENA and Eigen put in. Okay, that's kind of interesting. But again, these are the BingX pairs, so they have lower volume than looking at Binance. So maybe you just have to adjust your volume targets. But let's take a look at Hyperliquid. See what put in a weekly SFP. Sort by 24-hour vol. Okay, so ENA, ARB, some AI coins. Luna Classic. What the fuck? Say Nero, Lido. Cerebro. Well, that's a throwback. The weekly SFP, Griffin, Prompt, a bunch of AI related coins. And I mean, AI has been, but are these bullish or bearish SFPs? They just have such low volume that I'm just not interested in even looking at or entertaining them. So we still have ENA, ARB, Virtuals on there. So we'll add that to the weekly. Gala. Well, we'll take a look. Anything below 30 mil, I'm just not going to entertain. Doesn't mean you can't find trades in there. I'm just not going to entertain it though. Let's take a look at the lighter list. Interesting. NVIDIA and Robinhood put in weekly SFPs. Say, not really interested in that. Ooh, interesting. Lighter put in a weekly SFP. We'll take a look at that. And maybe we'll add Lido and Eigen. For shits and gigs. We'll do one quick check of the breakout list. S keeps popping up everywhere. Has 7 mil. Well, we'll take a look. We're just going to scan through them quickly, though. I'm not going to break down everything on them. I just want to scan through them quickly. Take a look at the orderly list quick. Okay, I think we've got a decent enough list. I can then switch back over to this tab. We'll go back to my high time frame swing layout. We'll pull up the weekly list that we just created. What was on there last week was some of these. I think stables. Okay. Let's just do a quick peek through. I'm not going to spend too much time. Let's do a quick peek through. We'll just focus on the weekly. So this was from over here. This was a few weeks ago now. This doesn't look bad here though, does it? Zero doesn't look horrible. ENA. So it managed to hold that weekly SFP down there. Let's just do a quick. So there's the weekly. Let's see where H12 is. Okay. So you actually have a bullish H12 breaker right here. This doesn't look awful. Weekly SFP, bullish H12 breaker, right? This is the swing high that created the weekly SFP, closed above, retest. Bullish H12 breaker. Okay, ENA does not look awful. ENA does not look awful. Let's look at ARB. Same thing, managed to hold that weekly SFP. Oops. What are you doing? There we go. Let's take a look on H12. Where is the... So, you have a market structure shift style breaker right there. That it's holding, but it's also just dealing with this level here. Doesn't look as good as ENA, to be honest. Let's take a look at stable. Right back up into that weekly level again. So you're really wanting this to hold this low, because if you close below this, then you have your H12 breaker off of the weekly SFP. So bulls want this to hold, bears want this to break. What the fuck was this? And so, all right. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of that. I'm just not interested or gonna entertain a chart like that. Bio did not hold. So let's look at the ones from this week. Ritual. So it was a bearish weekly SFP. I haven't looked at this chart in a while. Bearish SFP, but it held the low. All right, there's your bearish SFP. We're trading above it currently. Bulls want this to hold. If this breaks, we'll close below. Yeah, bulls want that to hold. It's not an awful looking chart though. Let's take a look at Gala. Why did this, was it here? Yeah. Weekly SFP. I haven't looked at this chart in forever. Or if ever. Let's just mark a few things out. That's the Binance listing price. Look at those range quarters. Boom, right? Now we've been inside week of this. Okay, so there's your weekly SFP that took place. If bulls can flip this, there's your H12 breaker. You could even try for a market structure shift style one right there if you close above there, but then you're into the weekly range quarter. So I think you want to flip that. There's your potential setup for Gala. Let's take a look at lighter. The weekly SFP. Is that a weekly SFP? Well, it wasn't at that level, but it was down here. So right there. Just mark out a few levels here, because there might be a good trade here on lighter. I know I shot on it for a while, but weekly SFP. Let's clean all this off for now. Okay, let's see what we see. So managed to hold the daily range low. Still trading this chop range, right? But what we do see is here's a daily breaker. If it closes above this on daily, it confirms the weekly SFP with a daily breaker. H12 is the exact same setup. We can go to H4 to see something. Okay, so H4 already has right here. There's your H4 bullish breaker off the weekly SFP. Your better confirmation is up here, but this is the start of something here. If this H4 breaker holds, you want this to hold as a bull with that weekly SFP. There's the setup. Check out Lido. Weekly SFP. Let's go on H12. Okay, so there's the bullish breaker. It's not confirmed. Just like most of the coins we've looked at, the bullish breaker on H12 is not confirmed. H4 is though, right? Like we're seeing a theme here. A theme is starting to emerge. So you're getting H4 bullish breakers off the weekly SFPs. Your setup, your thesis, your bull case is that you got a weekly SFP and you've put in a bullish H4 breaker. I have a feeling we're going to see the same thing here. Just look at these charts, though. Why would you? This is the thing, though. When you see that, you have to say to yourself, "Why the fuck would anyone want to trade this? Why would I want to trade this?" Let's just clean this off. Let's just see what we got. Like, remember when this shit was supposed to be bullish? Like, oh my god. I mean, I staked with Eigen to try for that airdrop. Biggest fucking waste of time. So there's your weekly SFP. I mean, if you're ever going to find a signal, that's what you're looking for, is a weekly SFP. the H12 breakers far away. Here it is on H4. Your bull case is that this holds. That's a big if. But the long is there. Oh no. Is that it there? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hold on, mates. Okay. So this is your H12 breaker. You can see how it SFP'd the high. Right? So this is just an H12 range that's forming. But H4 it has confirmed. H4 is, you know, but it was with the close up here, and then it actually broke below. I think you, for something like this, you wait for the H12 to confirm. Let's look at S. S or ass. It's an absolute ass token. The hilarious thing, I mean, I don't know if you guys have been following the recent developments on Twitter with like crypto promotional disclosures and the whole KOL situation overall in general, like how there's a whole side of CT that's just like KOLs and pretty low tier for the most part, getting paid to shill shit. Like everyone was fucking telling you how bullish Sonic was, how bullish Sonic was going to be, how bullish S is. It's just the phantom chart that took over from here. And that phantom chart, I don't even know if you can access it anymore, but it was full of bag holders up here. Like the chart was like up here, full of, it's just a continuation of, right? What you do is you rebrand and you start a fresh chart and you get psyops people into thinking all these bag holders no longer exist. Well, what can I fucking say? There's the bag holders. They've been there the whole way. Selling on your ass. Let's just, you know, am I even remotely interested in a chart like this? No, I'm not. That's the thing. Like, yeah, we've been getting some weekly SFP signals, but the charts look like this. I mean, you can't really get much lower. It can. Don't ever let anyone tell you, oh, it's so low, it can't ever get any lower. Like from here to zero is still another 100% drop. So you could lose all your money, right? But there's the weekly SFP. You have it's nowhere near confirmed, but this is what you would look for a close above. Like for a chart that looks as ass as these on these weekly SFP charts that we've just seen a bunch of that look as ass as these charts, you want at least a daily market structure flip. Daily or H12. So H12 gets you a little bit tighter. Tight. Are you tight? H12 gets you a little bit tighter. So let's just say, okay, we want the H12 market structure break. Well, just wait for that. There's no need to rush it. All right, so S, if you, for some reason, think you want to be trading Sonic, this is your H12 breaker that needs to confirm. It hasn't confirmed. You need a higher high market structure break, close above there. On that candle, an H12 close above there, not just an hourly candle close above, or an H4 candle close. You want an H12 candle close above there. Then you look to rebid. You look to bid on a retest. So there's no trade here yet. You'd have the first markings of something. You have a weekly SFP. Same theory here. You want a close above here. You have a weekly SFP. You want to close above here on Icon. Lido, yes, you have the H4 confirmed, but the H12 is not confirmed. So maybe you say to yourself that the H4 is going to hold. H4 SF. There's the weekly SFP H4 bullish breaker, the market structure break, right? That's the swing high that created the weekly SFP. Close above, retest, boom. But on H12, you're still waiting for it, right? Especially when a chart that looks like this. Oops. What is this old shit? Especially on a chart that looks like this. I'm not saying there's not intraday trades. There's not scalps and whatnot. But like really, if you want to be buying something that is giving you a better upside, especially in alts where, you know, if you're going to be trading intraday, I'd much rather just be trading BTC or maybe ETH and Sol. Like for something like this, you want to be buying with the trend. Lighter as well, right? Like weekly SFP. There's the H12 breaker yet to confirm. The H4 breaker has confirmed though. This still has a level of mind share that, you know, maybe you say to yourself, I'm okay with this on H4 rather than waiting for the H12. Nothing confirmed on Gala, but again, weekly SF, but like, look at how shit these charts look. You got to ask yourself, right? Again, I'm not suggesting taking trades on any of these. I'm just showing you what weekly SFPs we had. That's all I'm doing. Right, guys? None of this is financial advice, blah, 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 blah. I'm just showing you weekly SFPs that took place. So this is a bearish SFP, right? Although we're trading above the SFP level now. This actually looks constructive down here, though. This looks constructive. More so than the other coins that are on this list. Stable. You might have a short setup coming to you. If you get a close below, right? Like what are the, when I outline these boxes, this isn't just, hey, take the trade. It's, hey, what are the conditions I'm looking for now in this target zone? So things that you're looking for is either a close below, retest, boom, or it's something like you have an H12 level there. Maybe it's a SFP of there. Short, right? Like this is what you're looking for. You're not just blind trading these. ARB. So ARB is interesting. You have the H12 bullish breaker off the weekly SFP. ENA was also interesting. You have the H12 bullish breaker off the weekly SFP. And now you're getting some follow through. And the 0 chart looks not bad at all also. But it is into, right? This is a bullish, sorry, this is a bearish H12 breaker. Excuse me. I do see a bull case for right here. Right, you had H12 SFP, flipped it with a market structure break, and it closed above there, also into a monthly level. I think you just want to be mindful of what might take place here, or what might take place into one of these levels here. That if you get an SFP here, then it's a short, but at the moment, this could be a long. Okay, well, we spent far too much time looking at these. We're at the hour-and-a-half mark. If there are no questions from my lovely audience, you beautiful people. If there's no questions, I'm going to wrap it up. Let's hop back quickly over to the BTC chart. I'm going to move hype to the weekly list. Just keep it there on the weekly list. And we're going to arrange that by symbol. Come back over here to hype. Yeah, I would be mindful of that. But we are looking for longs on HYPE again. Okay. Save. We're going to switch back over to here. We'll take a final look at BTC and see what's going on before we log out for the evening. Take a look at H4. Yeah. You know, not until I get a high time frame level taken out, there's nothing for me to do here. BTC, ETH. I do like that it held that level there on ETH. Also on Solana. See, like we're getting some level interactions on ETH and Sol that we aren't getting on BTC. Okay, lads. As I said, I will share these charts into my Telegram channel, Rapture's Trade Book, which you can find the link in the description for this video on YouTube, as well in my bio on Twitter. Once again, this has been Rapture's Scalp and Swing Sessions number 18, the weekly close show. We looked at our high time frame levels on BTC ETH, Sol, HYPE, and we talked about our strategy and possible plays for the days and week ahead. We took a look at the weekly macro dashboard, which was kind of saying to me that capital might be flowing out of USDT, out of the sidelines, out of stablecoins, back into the market. BTCD looking like it's put in a weekly local bottom. Alts, not so interested in. Between ETH and Sol, no clear winner out of the two. And I think that's about it that I have to say. We also looked at a bunch of weekly charts that put in SFPs. If you guys want, I can share that short list in the Telegram channel as well. Big shout out to the good folks over at BingX, bingx.com. Use code Rapture for sign-up bonuses. And my friends, also don't forget, if you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It helps me to grow and to reach more people, because that's what I'm doing here, trying to help you along your trading journey to reach consistency through a very specific strategy and process that I use. I want to thank each and every one of you that joined me today on this live session, or if you're watching the replay, big shout outs to you, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. We'll be back for another live session in a few days. Charts, etc., will be shared in the Telegram. And on that, Rapture out. Ciao.